Morning, Commissioners. My name is Joel Sain. I'm a pastor here in Lancaster County. I heard a lot about the farm preservation. One of the things that doesn't get talked about as much, and that's perhaps understandable, is how you're going to keep the kids down on the farm. In other words, we can have farm preservation, but we need farmers. And if we don't have farmers in the next generation, then what do we do with the farmland? That's a real challenge. And I was thinking this week about a author by the name of George Gilder, wrote a book years ago called Men and Marriage. And his comment was, or his thesis was, that civilization is built by men with families to feed, not just by men with families to feed. And I have a few comments from him, just 2 paragraphs, and then I'll just comment briefly. He says, the sense of social vitality and balance does not just happen. In civilized conditions, it is love, marriage, and the nurture of children that project a society into the future and make it responsible for posterity. I find it intriguing that we often talk about the future. We talk about, the planet and so forth, but we don't often talk about the next generation, or as much as we should. He goes on to say, there does not seem to be any other dependable way to do it, maintain social vitality, that is, throughout an entire population over time. Militarism, chauvinism, religious fanaticism, and even the leadership of a charismatic psychopath can serve briefly and at a major cost to individual freedom. But in general, it is only through love for specific children that a society evokes long-term commitment from its members. That is why the social temperature of single men is so high, why they often end up being sent to war or jail or other institutions, and why they burn out so young. A society does not run into real trouble, however, until its culture begins to adopt the unmarried male pattern, until the long-term commitments on which any enduring community is based are undermined by an opportunistic public philosophy. The public philosophy of the unmarried male focuses on immediate gratification. What did posterity ever do for me, is his question. A society that widely adopts this attitude is in real trouble. And what George Gilder is saying to us is this, is that if we adopt that attitude that we're okay with the unmarried male pattern, we're okay with the idea that a man can go father children wherever, abandon them, not care for them, we will then be trading the long-term view for the immediate view. And if there's there's plenty of industries that understand the long-term view. But if there's any industry that understands the long-term view, it's definitely farming. We're in trouble as a nation. You can't walk down the street here and everybody will say, we got problems. But how do we fix them? Well, we certainly can't fix them by adopting the idea that men should not be married and should not, and it's okay with us if they do not care for their own children in monogamous marriage. I thank you this morning for your time.
Thank you, Pastor.